The invitation, the message arrived on a Tuesday morning Earth Standard Time, transmitted through 17 different relay stations across the galaxy. It was elegant in its simplicity, broadcast in perfect translations of every major human language. The Zorvath Confederacy, one of the oldest and most powerful civilizations in the known galaxy, was extending an unprecedented invitation to humanity. After decades of cold observation and calculated distance, they wanted to negotiate a comprehensive peace treaty. Captain Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the UES Resilience, reading the message for the 20th time. Her weathered face, marked by years of combat in the outer colonies, betrayed nothing of her thoughts. Around her, the bridge crew buzzed with excitement. This could be the breakthrough humanity had been waiting for since first contact with alien life 40 years ago. But Sarah's instincts, honed through countless battles and negotiations, screamed that something was wrong. The Zorvath had never shown interest in peaceful relations before. They were known throughout the galaxy as supremacists, believing their ancient civilization gave them the right to judge and control younger species. They had watched humanity's rapid expansion with what diplomatic channels described as concerned interest. Now suddenly they wanted peace? Sarah's fingers drummed against her command chair. No, this felt like something else entirely. Admiral Rodriguez appeared on the main view screen, his expression grave despite the seemingly positive news. Captain Chen, you've been selected to lead the security detail for our diplomatic mission. The Council has chosen Ambassador David Park to head negotiations. You'll take 3 ships fully armed but weapons powered down as a show of good faith. Sarah nodded slowly. Admiral, request permission to bring the new stealth protocols online. Just as a precaution. Rodriguez's eyes narrowed slightly, understanding passing between them. Granted. But Captain, the Council is counting on this working. Humanity needs allies, especially ones as powerful as the Zorvath. Understood, sir, but I'd rather be paranoid and alive than trusting and dead. The preparation took 3 weeks. Sarah handpicked her crew, choosing veterans who had seen action against the Krell pirates and survived the Titan Moon uprising. These were soldiers who understood that sometimes the greatest threats came wrapped in silk and promises. She also made sure to include Lieutenant James Wong, one of Earth's best cyber warfare specialists, and Commander Ava Petrov, who had spent years studying Zorvath technology from captured fragments. Ambassador Park was less pleased with the military presence. He was a true believer in diplomacy, a man who had successfully negotiated peace with 3 different species. Captain Chen, your soldiers make us look aggressive. The Zorvath specifically requested a peaceful delegation. Sarah met his gaze steadily. And they'll get one, Ambassador. My people will stay in the background unless needed. Think of us as insurance. The journey to the neutral zone took 5 days through hyperspace. The meeting location was a massive station called Harmony Point, supposedly built by an extinct civilization, and now maintained by automated systems. It floated in the void between galaxies, truly neutral ground where no species held advantage. As the human ships dropped out of hyperspace, Sarah's tactical display lit up with Zorvath vessels. 12 ships, all larger than anything in the human fleet, arranged in what looked like a ceremonial formation but could easily become an attack pattern. Steady, Sarah commanded her bridge crew. Remember, we're here for peace. The station itself was breathtaking, a crystalline structure that seemed to pulse with its own inner light. Docking was smooth, automated systems guiding them to their designated bay. The Zorvath delegation was already waiting in the main conference chamber, a grand hall with transparent walls showing the star-filled void beyond. The Zorvath were impressive beings, standing 3 meters tall with elongated limbs and skin that shifted between deep purple and blue depending on the light. Their leader, High Counselor Vrexa Theta, moved with a fluid grace that seemed almost hypnotic. When he spoke, his voice resonated with harmonics that human ears found deeply unsettling. Welcome, children of Earth, Vrexa Theta said, his 4 eyes focusing on Ambassador Park. We are pleased you have accepted our invitation. Too long have our species observed each other from afar. It is time for closer relations. The negotiations began formally, with both sides presenting their terms. The Zorvath offered technology sharing, trade routes, and protection from other hostile species. In return, they asked for seemingly reasonable concessions: access to human colonies for cultural exchange, integration of Zorvath advisors into Earth's government structure, and most surprisingly, a complete database of human military capabilities for mutual defense planning. Sarah watched from her position near the wall, her team spread throughout the room. Something about the Zorvath's body language bothered her. They were too relaxed, too confident. During a break in negotiations, she pulled Lieutenant Wong aside. "Run a deep scan of the station's systems," she whispered. "Something's not right here." Wong nodded and slipped away. 20 minutes later, he returned, his face pale. "Captain, we have a problem. The station's translation systems aren't just translating. They're transmitting neural pattern data back to the Zorvath ships. They're mapping our brain patterns, learning how we think." Sarah's blood ran cold. It was an invasion technique, a way to predict and counter human strategies by understanding their thought processes at a fundamental level. But that wasn't even the worst part. Commander Petrov approached with her own discovery. "Captain, those Zorvath ships aren't in ceremonial formation. It's a containment grid. The moment they activate it, nothing gets in or out. We're sitting in a trap." Sarah activated her private channel to Admiral Rodriguez, sending a coded burst transmission with their findings. The response came quickly. "Proceed with caution. Backup standing by." The second day of negotiations began with the Zorvath presenting their final proposal. It was everything humanity could hope for and more. Too much more. Sarah noticed Ambassador Park's enthusiasm wavering, doubt creeping into his expression. Even he was beginning to sense the trap. Then Brexit Theta made his mistake. "Of course, to cement our alliance, we'll need a permanent garrison on Earth. For your protection, naturally. Our forces will help you maintain order as your species adapts to its new place in the galactic hierarchy." The room temperature seemed to drop. Ambassador Park's face hardened. "New place? I was under the impression this was an alliance of equals." Vrexus Theta's mouth curved in what might have been a smile. "Come now, Ambassador. Surely you didn't think a species barely out of its stellar cradle could stand as equals with the Zorvath. You are children, and children need guidance. Submit to our treaty, and that guidance will be gentle. Refuse and, well, you are already here, surrounded by our fleet." The mask had finally slipped. Sarah's hand moved to her concealed weapon as she activated her comm. "All teams, Code 7. I repeat, Code 7. Ambassador Park stood slowly, his diplomatic training keeping his voice level. "High Counselor, I believe there has been a misunderstanding. Humanity does not seek masters. We seek partners." "Then you seek in vain," Vrexatha replied, his harmonics turning discordant. "The treaty will be signed one way or another. Our neural scans have already given us everything we need to know about your species. Your military positions, your colonization plans, even your psychological weaknesses. You can cooperate, or we can simply take what we want from your broken fleet." Sarah stepped forward, her team emerging from their positions. "High Counselor, you've made 3 critical errors in your assessment of humanity." Vrexatha's 4 eyes swiveled to focus on her. "Oh, and what would those be, soldier?" "First, you assumed our delegation was our full force. Second, you believed your neural scans gave you complete information. And third," Sarah smiled coldly, "you thought we didn't know this was a trap from the beginning." The station's lights flickered. Vrexatha's confidence wavered. "What have you done?" "The question, High Counselor, is what have you done? You see those neural patterns you've been collecting? We've been feeding you exactly what we wanted you to see. False data, fabricated weaknesses, fictional military positions. Your entire intelligence database on humanity is worthless." Lieutenant Wong's fingers flew across his portable console. "Captain, our virus is fully integrated into their systems. Ready to activate on your command." The Zorvath delegation exchanged worried glances. Their technology was supposed to be unhackable. Their systems too advanced for primitive humans to understand. But humanity had learned long ago that sometimes the best way to fight advanced technology was with something unexpected. "You're bluffing," Vrexatha snarled. "Our fleet will destroy your 3 small ships." 3 ships? Sarah laughed. "High Counselor, humanity learned long ago never to walk into a room without knowing all the exits. Executed Prometheus Protocol." The counter-strike, the void around Harmony Point suddenly erupted with light. Where there had been empty space, 40 human vessels materialized, their stealth systems dropping to reveal a full battle fleet. The UES Vengeance, humanity's first dreadnought, led the formation, its massive railguns already tracking the Zorvath vessels. The containment grid the Zorvath had so carefully arranged was now itself contained. Inside the station, alarms began blaring. The Zorvath delegation's confident postures crumbled as their personal communicators flooded with panicked messages from their fleet. Frexitheta's skin flushed a deep purple, a sign of extreme distress among his species. "This is impossible," he breathed. "Your technology isn't advanced enough for this level of stealth." Admiral Rodriguez's image appeared on the conference room's main screen, transmitted from the Vengeance. "High Counselor Vrex Theta, this is Admiral Rodriguez of the United Earth Fleet. Your ships are targeted and locked. Your weapon systems have been infected with our cyber warfare package. You have 60 seconds to stand down, or we will consider your treaty offer rejected in the most emphatic way possible." Sarah watched as the Zorvath leader's four eyes darted between his delegation members, searching for options that didn't exist. The hunter had become the hunted, and the trap they had so carefully laid had snapped shut on them instead. "You knew," Frexatha said, turning to Ambassador Park. "You knew from the beginning." Park adjusted his glasses, his diplomatic demeanor intact despite the tension. "High Counselor, humanity has a saying, trust but verify. We verified your intentions the moment your message arrived. Every civilization you've offered treaties to has either disappeared or become a vassal state. Did you really think we wouldn't notice the pattern?" Commander Petrov stepped forward, her scanner in hand. "Your neural scanning technology is impressive, but it has a fatal flaw. It requires the subject to be unaware of the scan. We've been wearing neural shields since we arrived, feeding your systems false data through quantum entanglement transmitters. Every piece of intelligence you've gathered is fabricated." The beauty of humanity's plan was its simplicity. While the Zorvath had focused on their sophisticated neural scanning and military positioning, they had ignored the possibility that humanity might simply lie to them on a quantum level. The false data had been carefully crafted by Earth's best psychologists and military strategists, creating a fictional version of humanity that appeared weak, divided, and ripe for conquest. 30 seconds, High Counselor, Admiral Rodriguez announced. Vrexatha's subordinate, a younger Zorvath named Crixlon, suddenly spoke up. "High Counselor, their weapons are real. Our shields won't hold against those railguns." "We must comply. Silence," Vrex Theta roared, but his authority was crumbling. The other Zorvath were backing away from him, their body language shifting from aggressive to defensive. Sarah activated her tactical display, showing it to the room. "Would you like to see what your fleet is facing, High Counselor? Each of our ships is equipped with antimatter torpedoes, quantum disruptors, and yes, good old-fashioned kinetic weapons that your shields were never designed to stop. We learned from every species you've conquered, studied their failures, and prepared accordingly." The countdown reached 0. Admiral Rodriguez's voice was firm. "Time's up. High Counselor, order your fleet to power down weapons and shields or we will open fire." For a moment, the galaxy held its breath. Then slowly, Frexitheta raised his elongated hand to his communicator. "All vessels, this is the High Counselor. Stand down. Power down all weapon systems." One by one, the Zorvath ships complied, their weapon signatures disappearing from the tactical display. The human fleet maintained their lock but held fire. The immediate crisis had passed, but the real work was just beginning. "Now," Ambassador Park said, returning to his seat at the negotiation table as if nothing had happened, "let's discuss a real treaty, one between equals." Frexitheta's skin rippled with colors humans had never seen before, possibly emotions their translators couldn't interpret. We dare," Sarah interrupted. "Because that's what humans do. We dare to explore, to grow, to stand up to bullies no matter how big they are. You thought our youth as a spacefaring species made us weak. You're about to learn it makes us unpredictable." Lieutenant Wang's console chimed. "Captain, I've completed the download of their navigation database. We now have the locations of every Zorvath colony, military installation, and subject world." The implications were clear. Humanity now held as much strategic information about the Zorvath as they had tried to steal about Earth. The playing field hadn't just been leveled. It had been completely reversed. "You've committed an act of war," Vrex Theta said, but his voice lacked conviction. "No," Ambassador Park responded calmly. "You committed an act of war when you tried to enslave us through deception. We've simply defended ourselves. Now we can continue this confrontation, likely resulting in massive casualties on both sides, or we can negotiate a genuine peace treaty, one that acknowledges humanity's sovereignty and right to exist as a free species." The next several hours were tense but productive. With their scheme exposed and their fleet neutralized, the Zorvath had no choice but to negotiate in good faith. The treaty that emerged was nothing like what they had originally intended. Instead of vassalage, it established clear boundaries, trade agreements with equal terms, and most importantly, mutual non-aggression pacts. Sarah watched the proceedings with satisfaction. Humanity had passed its first real test as a galactic power. They had shown they could be diplomatic when appropriate, but were absolutely willing to bare their teeth when threatened. As the Zorvath delegation prepared to leave, Crixlon approached Sarah privately. "Captain, may I ask you something?" Sarah nodded. "How long have your people been preparing for this?" "Since the day we received your message," Sarah replied. "But in a larger sense, we've been preparing our entire history. Every war we've fought, every peace we've negotiated, every time we've had to stand up to someone stronger than us, we've been preparing." Crixlon's 4 eyes blinked in sequence, a gesture of respect among his people. "We underestimated you." "Yes," Sarah agreed. "And you're not the first. Spread the word among the other civilizations, Crixlon. Humanity seeks peace, but we're always ready for war. Those who come to us with open hands will find friends. Those who come with hidden blades will find warriors." The Zorvath departed Harmony Point with their fleet intact, but their ambitions thoroughly crushed. The human fleet maintained position until the last Zorvath vessel entered hyperspace, then began their own preparations to leave. Admiral Rodriguez called a final meeting aboard the Vengeance. The conference room was filled with the mission's key personnel, including Ambassador Park, Captain Chen, and their senior staff. "Ladies and gentlemen," Rodriguez began, "what happened here today will echo throughout the galaxy. We've shown that humanity won't be intimidated, manipulated, or conquered, but we've also shown that we're reasonable, that we can be merciful even to those who tried to harm us." Ambassador Park nodded. "The Zorvath will spread the story. Other civilizations will hear about this. Some will respect us for our strength, others for our restraint. Both reactions serve our purposes," Sarah added. "Let them wonder what else we're capable of, what other surprises we might have hidden." Lieutenant Wong raised his hand. "Admiral, what about the intelligence we gathered from their systems? We have enough information to—" "To what, Lieutenant? Conquer them? Destroy them?" Rodriguez shook his head. "No, that information is our insurance policy. As long as the Zorvath honor the treaty, we honor their secrets. But if they ever threaten us or any other peaceful species again, well, then we'll reconsider." Commander Petrov spoke up. "Sir, there's something else. During the cyber infiltration, we discovered references to something called the galactic hierarchy. The Zorvath aren't the top of the food chain. There are others older and more powerful." The room fell silent. This was sobering news, but not entirely unexpected. The galaxy was vast and ancient. Humanity had always known they weren't alone. "Then we keep preparing," Rodriguez said firmly. "We keep advancing our technology, building our alliances, and showing the galaxy that humanity stands for something more than just survival. We stand for freedom, for justice, for the right of all species to determine their own destiny." Sarah stood, looking out at the stars through the view screen. "The Zorvath thought our youth made us weak. They didn't understand that it makes us hungry, eager to learn and grow. Every challenge makes us stronger. Every threat makes us more united." As the human fleet prepared to jump to hyperspace, a message arrived from Earth. The entire population had been watching, waiting to hear the outcome of the negotiations. The response was unanimous: pride in their representatives, relief at avoiding war, and determination to be ready for whatever came next. The journey home was filled with debriefings and analysis. Every aspect of the encounter was studied, from the Zorvath's technology to their psychology. Earth's military academies would study this engagement for years, using it as a template for dealing with hostile first contact scenarios. But perhaps the most important outcome was the message it sent to humanity itself. They were no longer the new kids on the galactic block, fumbling their way through interstellar politics. They were players now, serious players who could hold their own against civilizations thousands of years their senior. As the Resilience dropped out of hyperspace in Earth's solar system, Sarah stood on her bridge one last time before the mission officially ended. Her crew was exhausted but exhilarated. They had faced down one of the galaxy's most powerful civilizations and won, not through superior firepower, but through preparation, cunning, and the willingness to stand their ground. "Captain," Her communications officer called out, "We're receiving dozens of messages from other alien civilizations. They want to establish diplomatic relations, real ones this time." Sarah smiled. "The word is out then, good, let them come. Humanity is ready." In the years that followed, the encounter at Harmony Point would be remembered as humanity's true entry onto the galactic stage, not as conquerors or conquered, but as a species that valued peace while maintaining the strength to enforce it. The Zorvath, chastened by their failure, eventually became genuine trading partners, their respect for humanity grudging but real. Other civilizations took notice. Some approached with genuine intentions of friendship and found humanity to be warm allies. Others came with hidden agendas and found themselves facing the same prepared resistance the Zorvath had encountered. The message was clear across the galaxy. Humanity would extend a hand in friendship to any who offered it sincerely, but that hand could quickly become a fist if threatened. The treaty that had been meant as a trap became a symbol of humanity's approach to galactic relations. They would always seek peace, always prefer diplomacy to conflict, but they would never ever walk into negotiations unprepared. The galaxy had learned an important lesson about the young species from Earth. They might be new to the stars, but they were old hands at survival. As Captain Sarah Chen retired years later, she was asked by a young cadet what advice she would give to the next generation of Earth's defenders. Her answer was simple: always hope for peace, always prepare for war, and never, ever underestimate the power of being underestimated. The peace treaty trap had failed, but in its failure it had succeeded in something far more important. It had announced to the galaxy that humanity had arrived, not as subjects to be ruled or resources to be exploited, but as equals demanding and deserving respect. And for a species that had only been among the stars for less than a century, that was the greatest victory of all.